On today's episode, I just wanted to answer a question that comes up all the time with new and many qualified coaches. Who am I to coach someone else? It's this barrier that so many new and qualified coaches struggle to overcome, and I see it at two different junction points in their coaching career. For potentially new coaches, there's that sense, well, if I'm not all perfect and super duper, how can I possibly help other people in their life or in their career? So it prevents people from starting. Equally qualified coaches then go through this new sort of transitional stage where they go from one day being a normal person to the next day being a qualified coach. And that again creates this huge obstacle that lots of coaches struggle to get over for the same reason, effectively. They're a little bit like, well, how can I go out into the world and start talking about the benefits of coaching, for example, and when I'm not perfect? And lots of people will know me like as a normal person, whether my school friends or colleagues or family members, and they're all going to be getting together in one gigantic huddle and sharing notes with each other, telling each other just how imperfect I am and why it's such a ridiculous notion that I should become a coach because I'm so imperfect in so many millions of different ways. And I sort of exaggerate to put a joke on it, but it's very true, isn't it? It's the big junction point. It's the big obstacle that I think as coaches we have to overcome. So that's the question that I want to try and answer today on this conversation with you and I. Let's do this. All right, so let's look at this. Who am I to become a coach? The first thing to note is this. What I've found with well over a decade of coaching, real people want to work with real people. They don't want to work with Photoshop perfection. There's nothing worse, is there? And I'm going to pick on social media now because I'm not a big fan of it. But social media is full of Photoshopped perfection. What I mean by that is, staged photos of how amazing it is. And everything's polished, perfect hair, perfect captions. Bore off. I can't think of anything less inspiring or motivational. It's like, oh, well, whatever. And for most people, it's a complete mirage, isn't it? And occasionally I'll find myself in and around influencers or bloggers or whatever it might be, and I see them plying their trade, as it were. And they're taking millions of photos and whatnot, and they're coming at it from every single different angle. And I just think, that just looks like the worst job in the world. I couldn't think of anything more boring. And it's all an illusion because they're just taking 1,000 photos to give you the perfect one. And while they're busy taking 1,000 photos and completely stressed out by it, they've missed the beauty of the moment anyway, or the activity that they're meant to be doing. I don't want to get too sidetracked with that. However, as a human, we see through that. It's the Oscar Wilde quote. You can fool some of the people some of the time, but not all of the people all of the time. It's the great truth. I think I might have mentioned it recently on a podcast, but we once had a lady that helped us run, I'm going to say, spiritual mindfulness style sessions in some live events that we were running at the time. Now, on the stage, she was a goddess of light. Behind the scenes, she was a weapon of mass destruction. Right? I'm not joking. It was the most incongruent thing I've ever experienced in my entire life. And I just personally feel like this is just all about congruency. Just own it. Own your story. Own who you are. Because the truth is this, people want to work with you. That's it. They don't want to work with your Photoshop perfection because they don't believe it anyway. We know almost consciously or subconsciously sometimes something's just not quite right. And then when it manifests, my weapon of mass destruction, it all made sense. It was like, yeah, I sort of knew something was off. I couldn't consciously articulate it. And then when it exploded, it was like, yes, that makes sense. And I think it's the same in coaching. So when it comes to that question, who am I to coach someone else? You're the perfect person to coach them because you are perfectly imperfect. That's it. And it's your story of imperfection that very often is your greatest coaching asset. I'm going to say that again. Your greatest coaching asset are the struggles that you've overcome and come out the other side. I spend so much time working on this with our coaches in training and our qualified coaches, in that it's your story that's the most powerful thing that you have. And it doesn't have to be this story of accolade and ridiculous celebrity success. It's your story of going through the menopause and coming out the other side with excitement for your future into the next stage of your life. It's your story of dealing with a messy breakup and rebuilding your life as a single parent. It's your story of overcoming a challenging relationship with alcohol and now thriving without it. It's your stories that you already have. That's the most attractive thing to clients that you have. Not the perfect story, because everyone knows it's just not true. It's the story of struggle that leads to some form of success. And let me just highlight what success is. Success is not glittery success, lifting trophies and being all amazing. It's going from struggling with alcohol to actually enjoying life again. Do you know what I mean? It's going from that messy breakup to really feeling empowered as a single parent. Not, I won the glittering prize and I'm the most amazing person on the planet now because I've made this change. That's not success. I'm talking about real success. And here's the truth of that. I teach our coaches how to tell stories better. But when you tell a story that involves your struggle, it hooks people in. Because if they hear their struggle in your struggle, they will stop. And the reason that happens is this. There's so much noise in the world, isn't there, at the moment, right? So much distraction. Your brain at a conscious and subconscious level can't take in all that information because you'd just be completely bamboozled all the time. So it has to filter on what it deems important for you. That's why if someone mentions your name, even at a cocktail party, whoever goes to cocktail parties, I'm not sure I've ever been to one of them, but you know what I mean. Someone mentions your name behind you, you can instantly, your brain, doesn't it? It's amazing. At almost a subconscious level, picks up on your name. And whilst those same people are now talking to you, you're actually listening to a conversation behind you. That's what your brain's doing all the time. It's on the lookout for things that are going to help you. And it filters. So it's a little bit like this. I always tell the joke, right? That when we take a group photo, if you've ever taken a group photo, and be honest, right? Be honest with me. What's the first thing you do? If you take a group photo and you get to look at it just to check it looks okay, who are you zooming in on? I'm going to give you the answer. You. It's like, let's just check me. Oh, I actually look all right on that one. You ignore the fact that everyone else is pulling a wonky face and their hair's all over the shop. They've got their eyes closed. It's like, oh, that's a keeper. Because you look good. And it's just the way we're wired, right? As coaches, we learn to mediate that a bit. And I think we become much more broad in our emotions and thinking and more empathetic and much more other-centric rather than buried in our own world. However, let's just say that's the standard person that's going to be coming along and listening to what you've got to say. So in a world of noise, I'm walking along. If someone's talking about something that doesn't really have any kind of bearing on my life, that's not going to make it better or help me overcome a challenge or obstacle, I'm probably going to walk straight past it. It's the truth, right? For the same reason, my brain's just not going to pick up on it. However, if I hear a struggle, that's like an alarm bell going off inside my mind. If the struggle matches my struggle, if the struggle is the thing that's keeping me awake at night, and I'm walking along and I hear that, consciously or subconsciously, wallop, that is a big alarm bell. I am in. I need to listen to this because unlike all the other noise that really is not aimed at me, this thing, this talk, this book, this post, whatever it might be, this podcast, I need to listen to that because that struggle matches my struggle and I'm struggling with that struggle. Therefore, if this can help me in any way, I want to know about it. You stop in your tracks and you start to listen. Now, so if you tell a story of struggle, which is just your story, it's so simple when you know how to do this, right? Your story is the most important thing you have. And this is the mistake, isn't it? Photoshop perfection doesn't start with the story of struggle because they haven't got one, because they're all perfect and amazing. And what happens? No one cares. Everyone just walks past and go, oh, nice. Nice photo, nice post, whatever. I've just walked past. However, a struggle, boom, alarm bell, I'm in. This is a real person with my struggles. There could be something in this for me. So they will listen. And then if in the story of struggle, there's that pivotal moment where you turn things around. You went from struggling with alcohol to actually alcohol-free. That is really interesting. And if the struggles match successes that those listening also desire, they will do almost anything for the bit in the middle, which might involve your coaching or your workshop or your book or your podcast. That's how humans are wired up. We are stopped in our tracks by a struggle. Vroom, alarm bell goes off. Then we're listening. Is there a pivot? Does it lead towards outcomes that I desire as well? So not only is it my struggle, it also shows me the desires that I want. I am absolutely invested in that. That is why when someone gives a talk on a stage, sometimes 200 people get up and leave the auditorium, and there'll be 15 queuing to see that person. Because for those 15, very often, it's ticked every box. I'll get messages like this all the time saying, it feels like you're talking exactly to me. It feels like you're telling my story. And that's exactly what we need to do as coaches, because we're not trying to appeal to everyone. Because if you try and appeal to everyone, you appeal to no one. You're just trying to appeal to that one person effectively that very often is a version of you from a couple of years ago. And we do that by telling our story. And this is the beautiful thing. You've all got your story and it's unique to you. This is why you are the perfect person to be in the world coaching. Not because you're perfect, because you're perfectly imperfect. And I really want to get you excited about this, whether you're new to coaching or a qualified coach, that your courage to show up and shine your message in the world will help another. If you're not courageous enough, or you don't take the opportunity to train as a coach, or you qualify as a coach and then falter at the last hurdle because you can't get over yourself to show up and shine your message, you are doing that one person a disservice. And it's never one person. That might be 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, 1,000,000 people. In my example, all the initiatives that I've been involved in now have reached well over 1,000,000 people. 1,000,000 people, imagine that. And I almost gave up loads of times because I felt the same. Like, who am I? I'm just this, like, at the time, overweight, unfit, unhealthy, brokery type. Who am I to try and think I can possibly add value to other people's lives? So I know this hurdle. But then I realized I've got to get over myself to help that other one person. And how do I do that? Just start to tell stories, share the story of my struggle. And anyone that's ever trained with me will know that I'm really good at being imperfect, because I am imperfect. I do lots of lives on social media. I like that, and I fumble it. I'll start a listicle, and I'll be on, a list of the 5 things to transform your relationship with alcohol, and I'll get to number 2, and I can't remember what number 3 is. Right? So what? Who cares? I'll write on the blackboard behind me if you're watching this on YouTube and misspell things all over the place because I'm dyslexic. Who cares? And I know this has been so refreshing to many of our coaches that were so fearful about being all perfect, and they see me being very imperfect. And hopefully it gives you lots of courage. And I know people are much more a warmer to a real person that that has real struggles and is not perfect than someone that's always trying to be perfectly polished, because it's just not real. So the long way to answer that question of who are you to coach someone else is because you're you, in a nutshell. And right now, you are doing all of those one persons, plural, a massive disservice if you can't get over yourself to get out there and share your story. If you're telling yourself stories that are completely untrue, that just totally made up, it's just because you're fearful about stepping in to something new, that you're not good enough and you're not perfect enough and you're not amazing enough and you don't have all these accolades and whatnot, that's all absolute nonsense. It's just your fear shutting you down from the most incredible opportunity of giving back to that one other person by getting over yourself. And all you have to do is really blooming simple: share your story. Share it in the right way, and I can show you how to do it. And that will inspire and bring the right kind of people into your world. And then, of course, if you do that for long enough, this is the beautiful part of the whole thing. Like, I've been doing it for well over 10 years, right? That's the only difference between you and I. But over that 10 years then, as that momentum builds, then suddenly you do write a book. You do appear on a big podcast. You do make a documentary. You do start running retreats, training coaches, work with the PFA, whatever it might be that's in your story. So your story evolves over time. So it has your origin story that people connect with because you're real, but also then you do start to build accolades along the way as well. So then you have the dual combo of experience, an award, as well as your story. That is how you create incredible, impactful coaching opportunities and businesses and do a lot of good in the world. And all we need you is to be you. Hopefully you found that remotely inspiring and it helped answer that question for you. If you enjoy this, do go to coachbusiness.school, not .com, .school, coachbusiness.school, and you'll see all the courses that we run. We have full diplomas to take you from a beginner to expert coach, as well as lots of now coaching specialisms, CPD accredited for those qualified coaches that want to come and train in specialisms such as positive psychology, performance coaching, or alcohol-free performance coaching, or even come and train with me in marketing and business in our MBA courses. Go to coachbusiness.school. Until next time, your coach, Andy.